Hello. Now I'm going to show you the presentation layer of our application, which is a client-side application layer. So it is on top of the REST service layer. So it invokes REST service on the backend to get the data and to request changes to the data that is persistent, and is implemented in Vue.js. Actually, the presentation layer follows another pattern, which is the model view controller pattern. So let's see the structure of this code to see how it is. So in terms of model, what it does, so in this folder we have the models, and these models contain data that is received from the backend. And this data is actually the JSON objects that correspond to the DTOs. So it's these JSON objects that are the result of the conversion of the DTOs that the REST service layer sent to the presentation layer that it runs in the client, so in JavaScript in a browser. So this is the models, and we'll find several objects there, and these objects map the DTOs. And actually what happens in the front end is that then you have JavaScript following the Vue framework that change these models, read or present this information and change the information. How is this information received? You have these services folder and you have these remote services. Here you have the remote invocations, either so the REST invocations, the remote invocations, either to do get, put, post, so either to get information and then to write back data in the backend. And then this is model view controller, so this is the model, and you have this view package, and in these views actually you have folders that contain both the view and the controller. So what is the view? Basically they are classes like this, so I'm going to show you one that have two parts. One part that does the presentation, something like this, so you have HTML-like tags here, and then you have a little bit of JavaScript code that actually knows how to react to the events that happen here. And basically this JavaScript, either it changes the information in the model and request new information from the backend, or read information from the models, okay, and therefore this presentation is changed due to the controller's interactions with the model, okay, either directly to the backend, but usually most of the times through the model that is mapped here. To understand a little bit how this happens, we can start with a particular object that is the top bar that contains basically what you see here. So when you log in, for instance, as a student, you have this top bar, okay, and for instance, when I click there, I use this URL, okay. This is described in the top bar view, and it's described with this button. And then you have this URL here, and you need to go to another component that is the router, where this URL is mapped to a component. So we'll find that you have find student, so you have student here. Let's search it like this. So last instances, so you'll find, okay, so you have, this is submission students, and you have student, and this is, then you have dashboard here. So it's nested the way you solve it. And then you have here a component that is the component that is opening the page when you select this. So actually this component, which is the dashboard view, is the one we have seen previously, and actually is the one that presents this. And then this component can have other components inside, so you can have a tree of components and you can manipulate these components. So, and each one of these components contains a view part, as you have seen, and controller part. Okay. So in terms of the global structure is pretty much this.